I want to talk about the importance of this work and some things that have happened when we think about in history and when we think about the events that's happened in church history particularly, and what has happened with records around the world. I know you're all familiar with this Doctrine and Covenants section 2, which is an extract from the Joseph Smith history. Behold, I will reveal unto you the priesthood by the hand of Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall plant in the hearts of the children the promises. I find that word very touching. The promises made to the fathers, and the hearts of the children shall turn to their fathers. And if it were not so, the whole earth would be utterly wasted at his coming. I think in my situation, I wonder what promises I might have made to my fathers and mothers, my ancestors from whom I descended, who did not have the chance to hear the gospel while they lived upon the earth. In the year 1836, April the 3rd, in the Kirtland Temple, was a great vision where heavenly messengers came, and among whom was Elijah the prophet. It is interesting that the Jewish people celebrate on Easter Sunday, the second day of the Passover feast of the Jews, and they open their doors for Elijah to enter at that very time when they were celebrating and waiting for Elijah, hoping that he would come. That Elijah came, but he appeared in the Kirtland Temple about the same hour that the Jewish families in that time zone would have been preparing to begin their feast of the Passover, restoring the stealing power. Do you find it interesting, as I do, that 5 years later, in the 1841 census in the United Kingdom, recorded people's names, ages, sex, occupation, and if they were born in the country of their residence, and if they were born anywhere other than in England and Wales. So many of our ancestors have come from the United Kingdom area. And 14 years later, 14 years after Elijah's coming, in 1850, the census in the United States, there were earlier censuses, but the 1850 census recorded every member of every household. Women and children were named. Slaves were included by gender and estimated age on slave schedules. Prior to this, the 1840 and any other fragments of censuses taken in the United States listed the head of house, the man, and how many males were in his house, how many females were in his house, how many slaves if there were. So the 1850 census broke it down so that we can actually search by name for all the family members that were in that census. Denmark had some earlier censuses in 1834, 1835, 1840, 45, and after that they started keeping their census every 5 to 10 years.